Welcome to Geography 141, the Natural Environment for Fall 2018. I'm the instructor for this class. My name is Lynn Songer, and I have opened the Moodle page, and I am logged in with a student interface. So I'm hoping that you are able to get this far, and that you, actually if you're seeing this video, then you did get this far. That your interface looks like mine. Now I am using Chrome, and so lots of times the look of the website changes depending on which browser you're using. So if yours looks a little different, that could be what's going on. So I want to go over the syllabus with you, and then kind of an outline of how the course runs. So we're going to start with the syllabus here. This has my office hours. I'm going to try to quit moving that arrow there. Office hours are Monday and Wednesday, 9 to 10, and my office is in 410 H Center Building, but I'm often in the GIS lab, which is in 455 of the Center Building. So I'm usually in one of those two places. I also have office hours on Tuesday and Thursday from 11:30 to 12:30, and then if those don't work for you, you can message me in Moodle and we will find a time that works. Of paramount importance is this little red assignment 1 blurb here. There are 2 assignments due this first week. On Friday at noon there is a quiz, but on Sunday at 11 p.m. on Sunday there is an assignment that's due. If that assignment has not been submitted, I have to drop you, and that's a college rule. Now, if I drop you and you want to be added back in, you can be added back in. But even if you do the quiz, doesn't count. You have to do the assignment in order to stay in the class. And the reason for that will become apparent a little bit later. So this class is an introductory geography class. There's kind of 2 realms of geography, the physical geography, the cultural geography. They overlap quite a bit, but this one is really going to be focusing on the elements of physical geography. And so it's a survey class. It's the beginning class that most people at the University of Oregon or at Oregon State would take in their geosciences or geography courses. And so you're going to have to learn a lot of terminology. So how are things discussed, and what are the terms used in this discipline of physical geography? We're going to focus on geomorphology, or the way that the land is shaped. Then what are the processes that shape the surface? And then how do humans interact with our landscape, and how does the landscape affect what happens or what humans do? You're going to have to use GIS maps and technology to submit information, to file reports, to process your data that you're going to collect, and I'm going to ask you to do some describing interactions between people and the physical environment. There's no text for this class. I have PDF readings that are in the folders. I'm required to give you my Lane email, but that is not the best way to reach me. The best way to reach me is through Moodle messaging. I check Moodle a couple times a day, probably not afternoon on Friday, and I don't check my Lane email that frequently. Part of the reason is I get so many emails. I don't know why I get junk mail at Lane, but I do. I get junk mail, and I get student email, and I get office email, and some of it it's just so much that student email gets lost. So the best way to contact me is through Moodle. I look for student contact there, and I will get back to you. It's a good idea when you're sending a message that you be polite. Say hi, say good morning, say something like that. My name is Lynn. You're welcome to use that. Good morning, Lynn. And when you're done, thanks. Avoid sarcasm. And because, we tend to be, and I'm really bad about this, I tend to be really short when I've got 6 students to contact, and so my emails may sound rude. They're not intended to be rude, so we'll give each other the benefit of the doubt with that. I do need you to include the class that you're in. I have, I think, 120 students this term. All of them will be using Moodle and Moodle messaging. And if you just say, I had trouble with quiz 3, I'm going to respond and I'm going to say, okay, tell me which class you're in and tell me which question on quiz 3. And then you're going to have to email back, and that's going to delay things. And so make sure you add what class you're in and be as specific as you can. Give me the question number. Tell me why you thought it should be right. Give me more information to work with. This is an online class, so this seems a little redundant. You need to have internet. You need to have pretty good internet because a lot of the class material is videos, and the mapping software that you're going to use is online, but you need to have a good internet connection. That said, if you find that your home internet is too slow, the GIS lab in Center 455 has some open hours, and you are more than welcome to drop into the lab there and use those computers. I will post later when the open hours are. I don't know what they are yet. So each week I have supplied a study guide for you that introduces the terms. In that are links to some incredibly dry PowerPoint lectures. I'd advise you to not watch those late at night or have a cup of coffee or something to keep you going. There are also links to other videos that I want you to watch. There's a weekly quiz. There are 2 exams, and then there is the mapping activities that you will do. So there's a lot of components. I don't think you can be successful in this class if you access the website Thursday night and try to do everything Thursday and then don't look at it again until the next Thursday. There's really, there's a lot of material here. You probably need to block out 6 hours a week. If you were taking this class face-to-face, you'd have 4 hours of class time, and another 2 hours would be minimal for study time. So make sure that you're giving yourself enough time and that you're not just trying to chunk it in. The 2 exams, the first exam, the midterm, is in week 5, and it will cover the material from weeks 1, 2, 3, and 4. And believe me, I think that is the most difficult part of the course, and for me, I think things get a lot easier after week 4. Let's see, what have we got here? I have to change this. The exam is actually going to be open Saturday of week, the end of week 4 on Saturday and the beginning of week 5. Because I know there are some people that can't get there after work hours. Exam 2 will be cumulative, but the majority of exam 2 will come from weeks 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and the material that is review will come from the first exam. So you need to take your exam at Lane, one of the testing centers, either Florence, Cottage Grove, or the main campus here. They are not open book. They are not open note. Let's see. And if you can't come to one of the testing centers, you can get a proctor, or you'll need to get a proctor. The link is here, so it's a formal process to identify a proctor, get the proctor to contact the college. So make sure you check that link, and I need that by week 3 so I can contact your proctor with the information that they need. I do not accept any late work. However, because I know things happen and things come up, I will substitute your highest grade for your lowest grade. So let's say you take a quiz or you miss a quiz completely and you get a 0, then one of your highest quiz grades is a 9.5. I will substitute that 1 0 for a 9.5 at the end of the term. Same thing with the assignments. However, in order to use the quiz as a study tool, you have to open that quiz and take it. So if you don't even open the quiz, you will never know what was on that quiz, and that will really hurt you when you try to study for the exam. And then once you've opened the quiz, even if you really forgot to study, you might as well do multiple guess and see how you do. So that's just my 2 cents on that one. When you come to see me in my office hours, and I hope you will, bring your study materials with you. So if I have a student who comes in and says, I really didn't understand this week's material, I'm not going to do a whole personal lecture. But if you have copied down the study guide and you've filled it in from the lecture, from the reading, and you can show me exactly where you're stuck, then we have something that would be helpful to talk about, and you'll just be more successful that way. Okay, so then I've got kind of an outline of the weekly topics. You can see that the quizzes are due Friday at noon, the assignments are due Sunday at 11 p.m., and that's kind of the way it goes throughout the term. Exam 1 opens here. Then we go down. I think the only change, I have to change this. So quiz 9 happens over Thanksgiving weekend, and I'm going to move that till Sunday night. So that will be due the same time as your Sunday assignment, because I know that on Thanksgiving weekend you're either going to be out shopping on Friday, full of turkey, traveling or something. So we'll just make that due on Sunday night. And then here is the exam schedule. I'll take a look at the student contact, code of conduct handout. There we go. Good Lord. So the main thing that we see on an online class is plagiarism. So because you're going to be out looking on the internet for research about specific tornadoes or earthquakes or events like that, it's really easy for students to copy and paste that information, which is plagiarism. And if you copy 3 paragraphs, even if you put a quote around it, I'm not going to give you credit for that. I need you to rewrite that information. Sometimes you have to copy data as far as numbers, but all of that needs to be cited. And so here is kind of an idea of how I will grade your weekly assignment. So you're going to be creating maps, then you're going to be adding some data and content to those maps, and perhaps some images to help the story. Again, if the assignment is late, there's no points. If you don't save it correctly and I can't open it, then I can't grade it, obviously. If there's any plagiarism there, that's a 0. And if it doesn't have any references, that's a 0. But these are really easy things to avoid, so don't let that panic you. All right. So let's look at week 1. So you see I put the forum notice here. So I would check that a couple times during the week. If things come up, if a lot of students have the same issue or concern, I will make an announcement, kind of like, oh gosh, everybody, that website is down. I don't know what happened, but here's another option for you. So you might need to check that. Here's the lecture and the study guide. So here is the first part of the lecture for that week. The second part, so I've broken it down into small little lecture pieces. Here are the terms that you will need for the week. And then here are some essay questions and things that I want you to be able to do. So there's a lot of content on here. Some of these are just to kind of help maybe explain a concept. So that material is available. Then the first quiz when you're ready to, oh, wait. So here is a reading and map skills folder. You need to learn about latitude and longitude on a global grid. So here is the PDF. So you can print this out after watching the lecture, then try to answer these questions, and then I gave you the answers so you can see how you did. And here is the reading. You should be able to get most of the content from the video lectures, but I have readings here because some people find that just helps to kind of go over that a second time. So the first quiz, excuse me, is here. So when you're ready, you're going to attempt the quiz. You have 45 minutes. Now the quizzes can be open book and open note. You're going to start the quiz, and if you accidentally start it, you better just go ahead and finish it because there's no redo with that. Okay, so you're going to start the quiz and submit it. Here's the assignment. The assignment is PDF, and so your first assignment is rather long because you are getting the new software and starting an account or logging into this website. So this is a tutorial, a step-by-step tutorial. So the bullet points are things that you need to do, walks you through, and then you're going to start with creating a map, and then you're going to publish that map in what's called a story map, and then you're going to send me a link like this inside Moodle. You're going to upload that in your assignment. And your first assignment is going to look a little bit like this. And so here is your first assignment. I've also got the second assignment loaded in here. But the first assignment is a map of a location that was of interest to you. So I was up in the Olympics this summer, so that's where I focused my map. And then I wrote an introduction about myself, a little bit about the national park, and I added an image. So the tutorial walks you through creating this. So your first map, story map, will have one tab. In week 2, you'll add another tab. And you'll have 10 tabs by the end of the term, each one covering a topic. And this is software that is used by oil companies. It is used by the National Forest Service. It's used by the BLM. It's used by National Science Foundation, by NOAA. And it's also used in 5th grade classrooms. So this can be very simple software to get started. So we're doing very elementary types of mapping and discussion tabs, but it also can be very high level presentation software with maps and data. And so when you have finished your assignment, did I put that here? No. Let me upload that again. When you are finished your map and you have your URL, you're going to copy that URL and you're going to add a submission, and you're going to paste that right here. Okay, so you're just going to give me the URL and save your changes, and then I'll be able to look at your map and give you some feedback on that. And then I'm going to move this news and announcements, if I remember, down to the new tab every week. So this is how it's going to look every week. There's a quiz, there's an assignment, there's a quiz, there's an assignment, quiz assignment. Here's the lecture and study guide for week 3. So you've got the lecture pieces, you've got the terms, some discussion, some extra videos that may help explain a point all the way through the term. And then when we get down to the midterm, this material, the week 5 lecture material, will not be on the midterm. But when you're ready, if you're taking the test at one of the Lane sites, you'll click here. You can see it's not available right now. So I would suggest that you try to do assignment 1 early on in the week. That way, if you have trouble, you can make an appointment or come on in. We can take care of that. And I think if I walk you through that one time, you're going to be fine with that. And if that completely flips you out, then it's good to know that ahead of time, because there's 10 assignments and that's 100 points of your grade, and so you don't want to miss those points. All right, I look forward to meeting you and working with you.